My brothers and sisters, you are now watching the Gamer 2323, so just forget about the chores you're supposed to do. Put your feet up, get your Kool-Aid, fried chicken, popcorn, get whatever you may need. And I hope you enjoy the video. My brothers and sisters, hello there. Anyways, I didn't think that I was going to beat Uncharted 3 so soon, but because I was taking my time with it. It came out November 1st. Today is November 6th, so it took me 5 days to beat it. That's a lot these days. Most gamers just beat it in one day. I can't do that. But so I literally just beat the campaign, watched the credits, now here I am. So everything I'm about to say in this review will be my real emotions from everything I just experienced. And most of this review will be about the campaign, because let's be honest, anyone who says the online of Uncharted is more important or as important as the campaign, if I have you on my friends list, please let me know so I can delete you. Please, because the campaign for Uncharted is not just a thing you can just pass. No, you have to experience every single one of them, So this will be my review for Uncharted 3. So, let's begin, shall we? Now, my whole mindset, alright? When I went into Uncharted 3's campaign, my whole mindset was this. Uncharted 2 won Game of the Year. Uncharted 2's story was freaking amazing. The online was great. So my whole mindset was, am I going through puberty? Voice crack. Anyways, my whole mindset my whole mindset was, how can Naughty Dog improve from Uncharted 2 to Uncharted 3 when Uncharted 2 was almost a flawless game? How could they improve it even more? And I didn't see it happening. It's like Uncharted 2 went 55-0. That's flawless for, you first person shooter hardcore fans out there. So, how can you do better than a flawless? Well, you go 100-0. And my brothers and sisters, that is what Uncharted 3 did. There are so many crazy moments in this campaign. But before we get to that, let's get to the characters. Now, of course, we do have some characters returning from Uncharted 2. Of course, you have Sully, Victor Sullivan himself. You can't have an Uncharted game without Sully in it. He is basically Drake's best friend. You have Elena Fisher returning, which is always good. And, of course, my brothers, you got the brunette, Chloe, which I think she wasn't in this game as much as I thought she should have been, but she is in this game. You also have some new characters coming. We have Talbot, which is a guy throughout this campaign I truly had a hatred for. He is basically Marlowe's assistant. And here's Marlo right here. She's basically, at first when I saw her, I thought she was too old to be in this game. But throughout the campaign, she played her role very well. You also have Ramses in this game and a couple of more characters. So, you have new personalities and, all this other stuff. And I love the way the story started out. This is not a spoiler neither. It basically, the way the story starts out, it shows you how Nathan Drake became who he is and how Sully became who he is and, and all that stuff. That's all I'll say. But I love the way the story started out. It was very creative and, in this game, you do some of the craziest things. Like, I was questioning, how was Drake capable of doing all of this? Like, any other normal person, he would be dead. Even Kratos. Kratos could not have done the things that Drake did in this game. Well, that's maybe going too far. Because Kratos is, not Kratos, but you get the point. I don't even think Batman could do the things that Drake was doing through this game. Like, there were honestly some moments where I'm like, why won't Drake just die? Like, give up. Like, it seemed impossible. But, honestly, throughout this whole campaign, you honestly questioned if Drake could actually overcome the situations he was being put in, because it almost seemed impossible. And even Sully and Elena were starting to question Drake's motives. Like, they were saying, why are you putting yourself throughout all these dangerous situations just to solve some voyage from Sir Francis Drake? But you know how
Drake is. You know, he's all stubborn and he wants to do what he wants to do, so of course he disagrees with them. But basically Sully and Elena were trying to tell him to start thinking smart, and you know, you could die from this. And Elena was saying how Drake can't keep, you know, dragging Sully throughout this whole dangerous adventure, because you know Sully, he's like an old guy, you know. So they were trying to change Drake's perception of this whole journey, and you know, Drake, he just was not standing for it. For whatever reason, he felt he needed to solve this voyage from Sir Francis Drake. And you know, it was just emotions going off from every single character, Sully to Elena to Drake, and you know, you really felt like you was connecting to these characters even more so.
You know, so you got all that going on, and I mean, let me just say this: the best way that a brother can describe Uncharted 3's campaign is 2 words: emotional roller coaster. And I mean, there were times where it was so intense because I beat it on hard mode. At first, you know, I normally start the game playing on normal. I beat it, and then I play on hard, and then crushing and stuff like that. But I've been playing Uncharted since, you know, 1, and you know, I felt that, you know, I'm familiar with Uncharted, so I'm like, I'm good. I'm beat this game on hard mode the first time. So I did it on hard mode, and there were so many intense moments to where I had the thought of a brother might have to downgrade to that normal, because it was just too many things going on. I'm like, I can't do this. So you know, you had times like that. I mean, in any other game, I would never get this emotional, but there were some times in this game where I wasn't going to cry, because that's one thing a brother does not do, is wipe the tears, my brothers. And well, I do, I ain't gonna lie, but there were some emotional moments in this game, and you know, like I said, it was an emotional roller coaster. There were so many moments during this game where you were playing it, and for any other game it would be a cutscene. Like, you know, when something really epic happens and you're like, any other game, it would be a cutscene. In Uncharted, no. In Uncharted, you are playing through it, and I honestly couldn't believe it. Like, I had to test it. I did this several times. Like, during those moments where I'm like, this should be a cutscene, I put down my controller just to see if I could actually control what Drake was doing. And when I saw that I could, I just paused it, looked at my sister who was watching me play it, and her mouth was jaw dropped too, and I'm like, give this game of the year. And it was crazy. I know what some brothers and some sisters might be thinking at this point, like, oh my god, dude, you are the biggest
Uncharted fanboy ever, dude.
That's one thing I am not, my brothers and sisters, an Uncharted fanboy. I honestly do get how some people can get that impression, because every time I talk about Uncharted, you always hear me praising it and saying, oh my god, give this game of the year right now. But honestly, this is how I feel about it, honestly. And this is some real game stuff. Like, you gamers who are, you know, my age, you should know exactly what I'm saying when I'm about to say this. Did that make sense? I don't know, but let's continue, because I feel like I'm going on preach mode, you know. You know how games used to be back in the day when you would buy a game, you know, say for last gen with PS2 and Xbox, or even the gen before that with PS1 and N64 and Dreamcast and whatever, you know. Remember how you used to buy games back in the day, and you would buy it for the story, and you would beat the story and play it over and over and over again just because it was that fun to you? Did the online matter back then? No. It's just like you played games because it was entertaining, it was fun to you. And not many games bring back that feeling for me aside from Uncharted. You know, there are a couple of games that do that, but you know, when most gamers these days, when they look to buy a game, they always see if it has an online. And that's why I think gaming today is so different from what it used to be, because people today are more focused on online than single player. And I mean, it's sad, because you know, games are really about the story. You know, it's not about just getting online and raping the noobs, even though that is fun, because make no mistake about it, my brothers and sisters, I do like to rape the noobs. But, you know, games are for a story. It's to take you off reality. And that's why I really appreciate Uncharted, because it brings back the feeling I used to get when I would play games back in the day. You know, so saying that, I did say most of the stuff in this review would be about the Uncharted 3's campaign, because that's what I consider the most important thing in Uncharted 3. And anyone who disagrees with me, you can know the role and shut the mouth. I did say that, but let's move on to the Uncharted 3 Online. Uncharted 3's Online, it has made a ton of improvements from Uncharted 2. You know, feature-wise and in-depthness-wise and all that wise stuff. You can do a lot more in the Uncharted 3's Online, but I don't know if it's just me. But it's like Uncharted 2 Online was more fun than 3. I don't know what's missing. I honestly don't, because they did add a lot of great stuff, you know. I'm not really a fan of the kickbacks. You know, it's like adding kill streaks to Uncharted. Some games are good with kill streaks, like Call of Duty and stuff like that. But for this, I just don't like it. But, you know, it's things you have to live with. You know, every game is not going to be perfect, you know. Every game has these new things that people do online, and that you can't change that. Like, not everyone online is going to play exactly how you do. Like, so basically, if you can adapt to what these noobs are doing, then Negro, trade the game in. Matter of fact, we know no one is going to trade in Uncharted 3 because it's Uncharted 3. So, you know, either you live with it or trade the game in, or adapt. That's what I'm doing. I just adapt to it, you know, even though it does get frustrating. I will say that. You know, when I think I should get a kill and someone just blind fires their way all the way towards me, I say, you know what? I did something wrong. And then move on. You know, so there are some complaints. But overall, Uncharted 3 Online is amazing. You know, they did add... One thing I really like about Naughty Dog is they see what other games are doing, take the good things from those games and add it to theirs. I say that because you can now prestige in Uncharted 3 Online. That's great, man. Prestige, you know, prestiging is a thing that a lot of people like to do, you know, because once you get to that highest level, you feel like you can't do nothing no more. So, you know, that's when the whole prestige thing came in, and, you know, it's been big since Call of Duty 4 had it, you know. So I like how Naughty Dog is constantly trying to add new things to other games. So you can prestige, you know, you can customize your weapons, you know, your character, emblems, whatever. Like, the online is great, like I said, but for some reason it's not as fun to me, in my opinion, as Uncharted 2 was, you know. I don't know. Maybe it just doesn't seem as hard as Uncharted 2 was. You know, it took a while to get, you know, to become decent in Uncharted 2. It seems like in this one you can just blind fire, you know, go 10 and 5, you know, and like I said, you have to live with it, but still, you know, maybe that's the reason. But saying that, I think that's all I have to say about Uncharted 3, you know. So, as always, I greatly appreciate if you rate the video, my brothers and sisters. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it could be a thumbs down. But what I do ask every brother and every sister. So until then, yeah, now it also does have online co-op, just to mention that. But saying that,
hope you guys enjoyed my review for Uncharted 3: Drake's Deception.